The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Many factors shape an individual's view of money, including their life experiences, their childhood, and their status in life. People will ultimately make their investment decisions based on their personal experiences. Risk and luck also play a big part in determining if an individual will become successful or not. Many people are driven to always be striving for more, even if what they have is already enough. But greed can make people lose perspective on what really matters in life. Remember that money is not the key to happiness. Most people are happiest when they feel that they are in control of their own lives. The key to getting wealthy is compounding. Allowing small annual gains to add up over time is the most important step to achieving financial success. To stay wealthy, stay humble. Don't take unnecessary risks, and have a plan for when things go wrong. Humans are inherently irrational beings, so try to aim to make reasonable decisions, but don't be concerned with being overly rational. Make a plan, but be ready to adapt as things inevitably change. In investing, there is always a chance something will go wrong. Everyone will have their own view of the economy, and these stories will ultimately shape how they invest their money. It is important to choose the best investment techniques that make the most sense with the kind of life you want to live and align most closely with your personal goals. Many factors shape people's financial decisions. Everyone will have a different view of the world based on their individual experiences, status, childhood, and other factors. This includes how people view money. Therefore, people will most often make their investment and finance decisions based on their personal experiences rather than always choosing the most financially rational decisions that will get them closer to their goals. For example, people who have less money are more likely to purchase lottery tickets than wealthy people, because it is one of the few ways they can imagine achieving financial freedom and wealth. Many people do not make sound investment decisions simply because they do not understand the financial concepts they require, because these concepts are still relatively new and many people do not have enough experience with them to truly understand them. Luck also plays a big part in how people become financially successful. This is why emulating wealthy people is not always the key to success. For example, Bill Gates is undoubtedly smart, but he was also lucky that he was able to attend a school that had a computer during a time when computers were not common. Risk and luck are both important factors for financial success. However, many people choose to ignore them because they are hard to measure. People are likely to attribute all of their success to mere skill, but risk and luck play a big role, and it is often difficult to identify exactly which part of their success came about as a result of luck, skill, or risk because they are so closely intertwined. Therefore, when judging others' success, do not look to one single person as a role model. You will gain a better idea of best practices and steps to follow by looking at broad trends, studying case studies, and understanding the average outcomes of certain behaviors. What is enough? In modern society, people are conditioned to believe that they never have enough, no matter how much they have. Greed can cause people to commit fraud, so it is important to keep perspective and understand that you do not need to take unnecessary risks just to get more than you need. For example, wealthy businessmen like Rajat Gupta and Bernie Madoff have fallen into the trap of always wanting more, and it led them to commit fraud and eventually landed them in prison. One of the most important financial skills to develop is understanding when you have enough and do not need to keep striving for more than you really need. Comparing yourself to others can also drive you to constantly want more. Keep perspective on what is really enough and do not become greedy. There are many things that are more important than money, like family, independence, and your reputation, and those are never worth risking. Getting and staying wealthy. Small steps can lead to big financial results if you effectively utilize compounding. Financial success comes over time, as small annual gains slowly add up over a long period. Many people become discouraged because they instinctively want to get the highest return on their investment in the shortest time possible. But that isn't the best path to success. The best path is to earn small, steady returns that will compound over time. For example, the successful investor Warren Buffett credits his success to the length of time he has spent investing. He began investing small amounts at a young age, which compounded over time until he became one of the richest people in the world. However, getting wealthy isn't the same as staying wealthy. To get wealthy, you must be optimistic and take risks. However, once you have wealth, you have to do the opposite. Staying wealthy requires humility, frugality, and even a touch of paranoia. This means committing to staying around in order to let compounding work and continue giving you returns. To do this, you should retain your optimism, but be slightly paranoid about potential obstacles and have a plan for when things go wrong. When it comes to success, a small number of events have outsized effect on a majority of outcomes. These are the farthest ends of the distribution of outcomes, and they have the biggest impact on both big companies and personal investment portfolios. The most successful investors are able to keep a level head even when things are going wrong, and in investing, it is very common for things to fail or go wrong. Take control. People are happy when they feel like they are in control of their own lives. When they feel that they do not have control, they feel disempowered, and that leads to reactance. Even though America is the richest nation in the world, many Americans are not happy because they feel that they are not in control of their own lives. Many modern jobs do not empower workers, and they often require them to always be on call, even in their off hours. So even though more people on average are richer in money than ever before, they are poor in time. Money is not the key to happiness. There are many more important parts of life, like kindness, humility, and empathy. Owning lots of material items, such as a nice house or a fancy car, are also not the key to respect. They are not indicative of wealth. True wealth is not the items you have, but the financial assets that are at your disposal. Spending lots of money and going into debt to purchase fancy items is not a good indicator of wealth. Instead, financially successful people save their money. The key to wealth is in having a good savings rate, which is even more important than income in the long run. Wealthy people also default to saving their money regardless of if they are saving up for a specific thing or not. Successful people develop their soft skills and take control of their time, savings, and spending. There are three main groups of people: people who save, people who don't think they need to save, and people who don't think they have enough extra money in their budget to save. Many people feel they are not in control of their savings, but you have more control than you think you do. It is easy to fall into the trap of trying to spend more than your budget just to show that you have money, but this is simply egotistical materialism and does not build real wealth. Aim to make reasonable decisions. No human can be completely rational. It's better simply to strive to make consistent, reasonable financial decisions. Reasonable investors don't simply rely on the numbers, but take social contexts and practical considerations into account. People who don't strive for perfection but feel good about their investments are more likely to stick with them in the long run. Furthermore, investing is not a science. There will always be changes and imperfections, so relying too heavily on investment history to influence your future decisions will not always lead to success. Sometimes one-off events will impact the economy, and you must be ready to take advantage of these outlier events when they occur. History is also not the best indicator of the future, because today's world is much different than the world was in the past, and the future will be different than the present. The most impactful economic events will be the ones that are completely unprecedented. The most important step when it comes to financial planning is being prepared for the unexpected. Randomness is a big part of life, so you should always leave room for error. That way, if things do go wrong, you will not be in dire straits. All too often, people have a single point of failure, which is when success is ultimately relying only on one financial element. This means if that one thing goes wrong, they will be in deep trouble. The most common single point of failure is people relying solely on their paycheck to keep them afloat without any savings or any other income. Successful investors avoid this by leaving room for error and volatility, retirement, and future returns. Change is inevitable. It is important to set goals, but keep them realistic. Change is inevitable, and both life and your own mind will change over time, so it's important to stay flexible. When you develop a new goal, you should work quickly to achieve it, but keep in mind that the key to success is long-term financial planning. Plan moderately and aim to work an average amount that still allows for free time. Aim for a decent annual savings rate instead of aiming for the extreme ends of financial planning that require working too many hours for a high annual salary. However, successful investing will require some sacrifices, and you will likely encounter some challenges, doubt, and volatility no matter where you set your goals. The key is to ensure the returns on your investments will be worth the costs in the long run. Too much focus on short-term returns will lead to bubbles, which can be dangerous. When short-term returns attract too much money, many investors begin to emulate the tactics of short-term traders instead of focusing on longer-term returns, which can cause bubbles that will eventually burst. It is important not to be influenced by the current trends of other investors and simply stick with your own long-term plan. The attraction of pessimism. It is easier to be pessimistic than to be optimistic. Overly optimistic people can be seen as naive and unaware of potential risks. Pessimism is common because money influences every part of our lives, but it's much easier to recognize immediate setbacks when things go wrong than it is to recognize slow yet steady progress. Many people choose to be pessimistic about their finances because they believe that it is better to expect the worst so that if things go well, they will be pleasantly surprised. Personal belief also has a big impact on how people manage their money, make their investments, and think about the economy. People are susceptible to believing in economic stories that they want to be true, even if they are not likely to be true. No one person will have the full story on the economy, but their beliefs will in turn have an impact on the economy itself. In order to gain a realistic view of the economy and the world, you need to gain a better understanding of the gap between what you want to be true and what needs to be true for you to still be financially secure. Regardless of our individual beliefs, there will always be universal truths about money to contend with. However, there is no universal truth about finance. Not everyone will have the same techniques or ideas about investing, and it is up to you to find the method that works best for your life. Every individual has different wants, needs, and goals, so each investor needs to decide on the investment strategy that will successfully help them meet their goals. The main takeaway. People make real-world financial and investment decisions based on their beliefs and life experiences, not on hard math or data. Risk, luck, and skill also shape an individual's chance for financial success. To achieve financial success, make a reasonable plan that focuses on compounding annual gains over time. Be ready to adapt when the markets inevitably change, and don't allow greed to distract you from your goals. Everyone will have different investment techniques, and the key is to choose the plan and techniques that will give you the greatest chance of reaching your personal financial goals.
Hi, I'm Rhonda, and this is an exclusive audiobook video recorded for the Audiobook Master Channel. Enjoy your audiobook and have fun learning. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll get updated on our next upload. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and say your thoughts about the book we just covered. Do you want to listen to a summary or review of a book that we haven't covered in the past? Say it in the comments below or send us a message. Don't forget to check our other uploads. Enjoy listening!